Hello there. So I've been asked to mount these blades on these boots, and I'm going to show you how I go about doing this. I have a lot of experience doing this, and I'm not going to try to pretend that this is the only way to do things or even that it's the best way. I welcome suggestions for improving my technique, but to get started, I cut open the package of screws so it's a nice neat, and then I'm only going to put the slotted screws in so that just for a rough placement of the blade, and then the rest of the screws I like my rubber bands. I can easily, close that back up easily with a rubber band when I'm done. Just some minor details, but I've got a pin, I've got an awl, a sharp piercing tool. I've got my electric drill with the drill bit and the Phillips screw attachment. And okay, so where do I put these? On the bottom of the boot. I generally line these up, and if you can put these on something flat so that they stay right where they are, that's nice. You can also prop them between your knees and keep it nice and flat. You can do it this way. I push the front of the blade forward so it's flush with the front of the sole. And I kind of get sort of about as much material on either side of the sole at the front screws. So there's about the same amount of material on either side. I don't want to have it too much to the inside or the outside. This is kind of my rule of thumb. And on the back, I do it so that the rounded part of the heel is sort of parallel, even though these aren't straight lines. There's about the same amount of sole all the way around. I hold that in place exactly where it's going to be. I put pressure on it so that it doesn't move. Then I take a pin, and keeping the pin perpendicular to the blade, so not on an angle. I keep it perpendicular, and I make a little mark on each of those 4 slotted screw holes. And then I take my awl and I position the awl, guide it with my thumb so it's nice and steady there. Position it in the middle of each one of those holes, make a little mark, test it to make sure I got it in the middle, and then if it's in the middle, I push a little harder and make a nice hole in each one of those 4 places there. And the next step is I take my drill, tighten that up there. Now the size of the drill bit is about the same size as the shaft of the screws minus the threads. So in other words, the threads are going to protrude into the screw holes. They're going to protrude into the sole of the boot so that they grab. But these Adea screws, or Resport also uses these screws that don't have pointed ends, so they don't naturally thread in. You do have to make a pilot hole. If I'm using some other brands of skates, I might not make a pilot hole, especially on the front. On the back, sometimes it's necessary because there's only 4 screws on the back, and the screws tend to be longer, so just to screw it all the way in, it's difficult, and you might break the top off the screw when you do that. So yeah, so I've got this these in the right place, and I'm just going to keep this very perpendicular and screw that hole in. This is a lot easier with a nice electric drill like this. Yeah, you can use a hand drill if you want, but so I push it so it screws in, and I don't want to break the drill bit, obviously. So, and then I reverse it to pull it out. Push it to screw it in, trying to avoid any sideways pressure on the drill, because I definitely don't want to break that drill bit in the hole. It's just a nuisance. I have to go get that drill bit out of the hole and go buy me a new drill bit too, so it's just a bit of a nuisance. So now I got those 4 holes there. I put the blade on, grab the, all of these screws are this, and they're all flat. Sometimes the screws have a different shape for the round holes than for the, they seat into the round holes on an angle, but these ones are all flat, so any screw, and they're all the same length too. So now I put on now the Phillips head. You can set your clutch here so that set it to 15 there, and you just take the blade, put it in place, the screw where it goes, screw it in. I don't want to tighten it too much, each one. I'm going to tighten it later at the end. So just basically screw it in. Mostly screw it in. Yeah, you can use that clutch. I set the clutch, but I'm not really using it because I just want to get it most the way in, actually. I use a hand screwdriver just to finish it off. Just screw it most of the way in each one of these. Yeah, because now I want to check to make sure that each one, now that the blade is in exactly the right place. And then I take just a Phillips, and I just tighten it by hand the last little bit. Making sure that blade doesn't move as I tighten each one of these screws. You don't have to over tighten it. You don't want to over tighten it, right? It'll strip if you over tighten it. So just a nice snug it up. All right. Okay, that's finished. So I'm gonna get the skater to go out and test these out. Skate on them for a few sessions. They're gonna hold just fine. Especially these are small skates. This is for a fairly young, lightweight skater, and so even if she jumps or whatever she does, those screws are not gonna move. But you don't want to let this go too long. You want, as soon as she's happy with where the blade is under her foot, then put the rest of the screws in. Yeah. Okay, so that's getting started. I'll do the other skate, and I don't think there's anything more I need to say about that right now. Okay. So, yeah, it's not rocket science mounting blades on the bottom of the boots. So I just show you the steps that I go through, and you can kind of see where they are here. That's my rule of thumb. I think the skater is going to be quite satisfied with that from my experience. We'll see. Okay, good luck with that. If you know how to use, these tools, and you're patient, you can do this. Yeah, you can take it to an authorized dealer and get them to do it as well. You can be a little more patient than an authorized dealer. An authorized dealer is not going to go through all those steps. So, and my experience is that people who are sort of on the clock and working and making their living don't always, time is of the essence. Time is money kind of thing. So if you want to really mount your blades and be patient and take your time and you're familiar with the tools and you follow the method that I suggested, I think you're going to get generally pretty good results. So be a do-it-yourselfer there, and save a little cash while you're at it. And when you learn, you'll get better at this sort of thing as you get more and more experience. So yeah, learn to do as many things as you can on your own. Then you become a little bit more independent, and you can become a little bit more discerning and a little bit more careful, a little bit more precise as well. If you want to get a job done to your satisfaction, do it yourself. Yeah, unless you don't have the tools or you're really not confident with using these type of tools. Not everybody can do this. You need a certain amount of strength as well to operate some of these tools. So, yeah. All right. Ta-ta for now.